Hello there, Gia.
Hello, Keisha. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. I have one brief observation, Gia,
Okay.
about you.
Okay. We're starting off with a bang here. Yeah.
Well, I've noticed generally when I say, "Are you ready?" and we start the podcast, you yawn, right? And I
Oh,
think you've
yes, I
established that
do.
it's
Yeah.
like maybe a nervous reaction
It could be a
somehow, right?
nervous tick or something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think when you're drinking, you don't yawn. So maybe that maybe that does back up your theory. Maybe if you've had a drink, you're more relaxed.
Well, that's generally how it works. Sure. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm my true self with a beverage.
yeah, your true
Yeah.
authentic self.
And I'm all
Right.
wound up when I'm sober. Yeah.
Or is that your true self?
I hope not. Yeah.
But either
I know I'm a
either
lot more fun after a couple of years, at least to myself, and that's what matters.
that's what matters. Because at the end of the day, that's who you're stuck with.
That's literally who I'm stuck with. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting observation, though. Okay. All right.
Well, I try to pay attention, and I've been
Yep.
meaning to bring that up because I noticed it a couple of times.
You should be a
Um,
detective of some kind.
ooh, wouldn't that be fun to be a detective?
Yeah. You're
I
better than
don't know.
Anna. I mean, she's not a detective, she's a spy.
She's a
She's a
spy, yeah.
former
I
spy, I
could
guess.
maybe be a spy. I don't
Yep.
know. You think
Stealthy.
so?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also I look so sort of regular, that I don't think like I could sort of become invisible quite easily, you
I
know.
just had a massive yawn now while you were talking. Does that mean anything?
Nope. It just means you're still nervous.
Well, anyway, this is a podcast about General Hospital. So
What? I thought it was just
what? I'm
about
shocked. How did I end up here? This is the wrong room. This is
I
the
thought
wrong
we would
chat
just
room.
work out our baggage and then you'd talk about apples for a while.
Uh yeah, I'm trying to think what I had today. I had a cosmic crisp today. Beautiful.
That's your new favorite. You're still in the cosmic crisp.
Yep. Yeah. They look like
Mhm.
who is it? Snow White that eats the apple?
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
can almost picture the cartoon where she's holding the apple in her
yeah,
hand. I think
that
that's Snow
sounds
White.
right. That sounds right,
Looks like
Gia.
an apple off of that cartoon. It's like that red.
Okay. Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a poison apple, right? Isn't that? Or does she feed it some God, that's terrible.
She's Well, it's probably good that we weren't raised on fairy tales, I guess.
Well, but a lot of us were raised on sort of the Disney versions of fairy tales.
Yeah, and they aren't quite as macabre as the
Not quite, but I'm still
originals.
haunted by Bambi, but uh,
Yeah, yeah. Whose idea was that?
I don't know.
Asshole.
And then there's what is it? Fantasia. That's a
Yeah.
trippy
Are you
one.
supposed to be tripping when you see that? Is
Somebody
that the
was
idea?
tripping when they made it, I think.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
I don't know. It's trippy. Anyway,
I know. Okay.
we had some trippy stuff on General Hospital today. How's
I
that
guess
for a
we did.
segue?
It was forced, but I'll take
Was
it.
it? Okay. That's why I had to point it out.
Okay. Yeah, we did have some interesting stuff, I guess. We had equal parts interesting, poignant, and also sort of painful, and not in a good
Um,
way.
painful in the content or painful in the execution or
Ooh,
both?
nice use of the word execution.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Painful, I guess. Hmm. The characters, certain characters make everything painful. Let's say it that way.
All right.
Okay.
I
I think you
that
could probably guess who I'm talking about.
Yeah, there were kind of quite a few of them. I had
Hmm.
a favorite line from today.
All right, let's hear it.
You are so exhausting. I may be misquoting that a little bit, but
I'm thinking, Is this about the show now, or are we back to me?
No, that's why I yawned. No, Alexis said that to Rick at one
Yeah,
point when they were
yeah. Uh-huh.
having it out there, and she was just,
Yeah.
I think she said something like, "My God, you are so exhausting." And I thought,
Mm,
I feel that way about a lot of people and about
yeah.
myself most of
Yeah.
all. Frequently, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Will
That's
you shut up?"
I
Like to myself.
know. I know. The loop in the head gets kind of tiresome, doesn't it,
Yeah,
sometimes?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um. Anyway, yeah. So we can kind of all we've got is today, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
because
and
we.
we could really take a deep dive into the Alexis Rick thing if you want to.
I don't know if I do want to go that deep, but I was just thinking we could like divide it. We've got Alexis and Rick. We've got
Yep.
TJ and Molly,
Sonny and Christina,
Sunny and Christina, Lulu and Rocco and
Lulu and
Dante,
Rocco. Yep. Lucky and Laura.
and Lucky and Laura. Yeah, that was kind of
Yeah.
all our.
Yeah, there's a lot. Can I would like to go back. Oops, sorry. I've got a dog shifting under my laptop. Um I would like to talk about Alexis and Rick for maybe
Okay.
just a
All right.
minute. Just in the sense that everything she was saying, while accurate more or less, she it was all based on the premise that Ava was guilty,
Yeah, yeah.
you
Um,
know? So I don't know. I didn't really know how to feel about that. And I thought, does Alexis really truly, so she's just basing her opinion on what Christina has said, which I guess
but
makes sense, right?
would we find Rick just as abhorrent even if we didn't think Ava was guilty?
Well,
Just for
that's a good
taking
question.
the case, interrogating Christina in that manner,
Mhm. Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
just for his involvement in
Yeah. Yeah.
I would.
Mm. Yeah.
I
I
find him
suppose that's true. That's a good point.
but yeah,
Um
why we are assuming that Ava is guilty.
mhm.
I'm kind of like where Molly is with it.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
in that, like, yes, Ava laid her hand on Christina, and yes,
Mhm.
Christina went there. Although the people that the whole premise that Christina shouldn't have gone there in the first
Uh-huh.
place, it's
Yeah.
like, well, maybe not, but it's not like going to see somebody. Like, it's not like Ava's walking around as a lethal weapon, that you
Right.
know to,
Right.
like,
Just waiting for somebody to stand in the right spot.
yeah, yeah, like just going to speak to Ava
Mhm. Yeah.
wasn't in theory a risk. So
Right.
blaming Christina for going to speak to Ava is a little bit ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think I'm right there with you. I'm not sure I was entirely at first, but now maybe with time and stuff, it does make sense that, you can't blame Christina for that aspect of it.
yeah. So I guess once I saw the footage again,
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, that doesn't look like a push. That looks
No.
like a hand on somebody, and then it was Christina's reaction and the
Yeah, she
trick.
sort of overreacted, right?
Yeah,
Or corrected or whatever.
it was just sort of like if there hadn't been a window behind her, like if there'd been a
Mhm.
couch behind her, she would have fallen on the couch.
Right. Yep. Yeah, but instead it
So
was this poorly constructed building.
yeah, and how that doesn't come up,
Mhm.
is beyond me. But
Mhm.
so I don't know. So I guess I'm seeing as an accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
But
I could
Christina's not. And like you said last
yeah.
time, maybe that's like she rewrote it in her head sort of, right?
Yeah, like that's like it was so horrible that what she
Mhm.
experienced
Mhm.
that you kind of have to have somebody to blame. A lot of
Yeah.
in a lot of situations without somebody to blame, it's just the whole thing is too horrible to comprehend.
Right. Right. That's
Um,
true. Do you think at some point Christina will sort of suddenly wake up and sort of see it like for how it really happened?
not if she keeps going to her father for counsel.
Yeah. Yeah, he's he's going to get mixed reviews, I think, as a parent.
It's tricky, because I kind of I was gonna say I lean into the relationship of Sonny and Christina. I don't think lean
Mhm.
in's the right phrase. I
You
I
embrace it?
en- I enjoy
Uh-huh.
I
Okay.
enjoy that he supports her so fully.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Um, because I feel like she just gets ragged on by the rest of her family members for
Yep.
I don't know. They attribute all this crap to her that well it's Christina. Well, like
Yeah. Yeah.
she's just this fuck up who can't do anything right, and it's like
Right. Yeah,
not
and there's
really accurate.
not no, it's not. It doesn't I cuz there were plenty of times like when it was especially with the previous actress, well maybe not especially, but when she was working at Charlie's Pub and stuff, for all that
Yeah,
time, she seemed
yeah.
like a cool, regular, sort of sane person.
And she, started her own nonprofit and had that running, I guess,
Mhm.
successfully. We never got to see that, but
Mhm.
um,
Right. They I guess they couldn't handle that. That was too much.
I mean, it does make sense in families. Like people get a reputation as a black sheep or whatever, and you never
That's true.
you
Yeah.
never outrun that, no matter what you do. And
Right,
so
and
she
that's
had the
not always
cult
fair.
history, yeah,
Mhm.
and she
Mhm.
had the cult history, and she had the bad relationship with the abusive boyfriend, which shouldn't get blamed on her, but
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, so I can kind of see that. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, she and her father.
Mhm.
Um, but Sonny seems to be encouraging her dark side. And then,
Yeah.
did you take what he said today to mean that he was going to kill Ava if she didn't get convicted?
That is how I took that, and it was disappointing because he had just said
Because he had
that
just finished killing John Cates.
yeah, I'm itching to kill someone, and it's been a few weeks. My trigger finger is it's sort of starting to tremble. But he had just said that it was out of their hands, right, or something like that. It seemed like it was in the hands of the jury, and I thought, oh well, that's good. He's sort of like helping her see that there's no point in wrestling with the outcome or what to do because the jury will take care of it. But then he immediately followed that with, if they don't find her guilty, I'll take care of it, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, and that's
And
what brought her peace, the peace that
right,
Alexis
right.
was
And then there,
picking up
yeah,
on. Yeah.
yeah. And so I was like, that's what we're doing with these two? I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
so it's a little disturbing.
It is. And yeah, I guess if we follow that through, like let's say the jury doesn't find Ava guilty and then Sonny does start to sort of plot to take care of Ava, and is Christina going to like be swept along, or will she like somehow like the clouds will part and she'll realize that that's not a good thing to do?
I don't know, and also he's been urging her to work for him, which I don't know.
I like how you
Maybe we're
said
headed
work.
into yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we're headed into like bringing a daughter in the biz, which
Yeah.
that's a possible interest we don't see
Mhm.
like that could be an interesting darker
Yeah.
part of this story
Uh-huh.
if we
Wow.
see Christina being groomed for being
Wow.
a mob.
Imagine that. Yeah.
I can't see them doing that kind of a bold move, but wouldn't that be a little interesting, wouldn't it?
It would be. Yeah. Huh. That's a fun
Hmm.
idea, Gia.
Oh, I know another scene we forgot to mention. I don't think we mentioned was
Yeah.
Drew and
Oh,
Jason and Carly
oh.
in the bushes. Like, what the hell?
I know. That's true. I didn't I felt like did I look away and Carly walked up at some point because it
Well,
did seem like all of
I
a
felt
sudden
like
she was there.
I looked away. Like, why were we at the pond?
What's he doing out in the pond?
Why
Was
was
he
he in the
doing his
pond in a wetsuit? What's like?
had his board? Did you see him put down his big like
Oh no, I
whatever those?
missed that.
Yeah, he had his
Oh,
big board with him, but it did seem
yeah,
like
that's what she said.
it's he has to carry that big board to feel like
So
a
he's
man.
out there in the dark. Wasn't it kind of dark?
It
Like,
was dark and it's December now. I guess it could have been like,
like
yeah. I know I'm not out in the lake at this time of year. Um,
huh, yeah. So first of all, I was just confused because I was like, was he diving for something or what? Like, what was
he's
I'm
such a
watching this
loser.
during the daytime when it's very bright and sunny in our front room, and
Uh-huh.
we have blinds, but my cat will not allow me to pull the blinds.
I'm sorry. That must be very difficult for you.
Well, it's weird, like, and you make a change anywhere, and she's like, "Not authorized." Not,
Not on my watch.
and so she'll do that, like she goes into blind destruction mode, and and she's gotten better as she's gotten older, but she's destroyed a lot of the blind, and
Uh-huh.
so I try to get there quick and put them back up, but they defeat the purpose. The whole thing is to block the sunlight, and
Yeah, from the TV and stuff.
yeah, and she's
Mhm.
just she's not having it. She's not
Oh,
having it.
jeez,
So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
hence I
Hence.
I miss some of the stuff because it's sometimes
Yeah,
dark scenes I just can't see.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I understand,
but
yeah.
did anybody explain why Carly just popped out of the shrubbery?
Nope, I don't think so.
She's just like,
Which is it's unfortunate because I thought she gave a quite a good speech, you know?
yeah, except I was like, nobody was there while I was watching, but she said, "You're both such good men," and I
Yeah,
was
that
like,
part that was
"Are
where she
you?
lost me a
Are
little
they?"
bit, yeah. I know, I know.
Like
Yeah,
he's a absolute scumbag over there scamming
yeah,
on his nephew's wife, and
yeah,
Jason, while a man who has his own code of honor, I guess you'd
mhm.
say, is
Yeah.
essentially a murderer, right? I mean, we're supposed to believe that he's an enforcer, right?
Yeah, yeah, sure, but, it's only people who have wronged him or Sonny, it's they're people that aren't generally missed by anyone, I think.
That's what they said about poor Jagger. I miss him.
You
Um,
miss him. Yeah, we need to get you some help, I think, Gia, for that.
well, it's not so much about Jagger, it's more about dropped storylines. That's
Okay, okay.
my beef is more with the writers than
Mhm. Sure, sure, it has nothing to do with his perfectly feathered hair
it
or
was
any of
lovely
that.
hair, wasn't it? I hope he's gone
Yeah.
on to something where he didn't have to cut his hair or anything.
That would be your advice to him if you were his
Yeah,
agent.
yeah.
We're turning down this part. It's a
Because
major, it's a lead in a big budget movie, but they want you to cut your hair. So
if
that's a
anything,
pass.
I'd look for roles where he could grow it until it was at least touching his shoulder. Yeah. Like maybe something that was just sort of a 70s throwback kind of thing or something,
You should reach out to him. I'm sure he would welcome your counsel.
I think so.
Maybe, as the kids say,
Does
slide
he have?
into his DMs, right?
I don't know.
I don't
Is
know
that
who
what they
decided
say?
that was what people should say, but I don't like it, okay? Makes me uncomfortable. Everyone.
I've never said that to anybody.
I wouldn't have thought so.
And that's DMs is that direct message? Like,
Yeah, and Instagram, I
yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Oh, on Instagram. Do the
Yeah.
kids use Instagram more than Facebook?
Yes. Yes. Yes, they
Okay.
do. Mhm.
That's interesting. I wonder why.
Well, because Facebook is for old people, I guess.
And they just ran themselves off. I spend
Yeah.
a lot of time on Instagram, but I find that like Facebook is for like people I know more so, and
Mhm.
Instagram I'm just watching
Y
whatever,
yeah. Yeah.
lots
Mhm.
of content, but not like
Mhm.
not I don't post personal stuff there, and
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not like a
not even
networking thing, it's
yeah,
more
yeah,
like just a
it's just I'm watching funny stuff or whatever.
yeah, finding squirrel videos to torture me
Yes.
with. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Where were we, Gia?
Anyway, so that scene. So
Mm,
Um,
yeah. So Drew
yeah,
was a total asshole there,
wasn't
right?
he an asshole? Like, oh, Jason is going to be a bad influence on his daughter. Like, you're
Yeah.
scum.
You
You,
shouldn't even have a daughter within 100 yards of your sorry little ass. Right.
yeah, I know. And I can't
Mhm.
wait to see. I hope that we see Carly's look of disgust when she finds
Oh,
out what
yeah.
Drew's been up to. I'd like to see
Yeah.
her, the scorn on her face.
Right. And you do sort of feel like when she knows Jason as well as she does, the fact that he fought Drew, she's got to know
She's
that he
got to
wouldn't
know
have
it
just
was,
done that for
yeah,
no good reason, you know?
yeah, yeah.
But
And
yeah,
yeah, I hope she rips Drew a new one
yeah, that
when
would be
she hears
nice.
what he's done.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so I guess we've pretty much covered that little
Yeah.
scene.
We haven't gotten
Um,
over our feelings about Drew. Apparently, we're sorry.
apparently not. No.
We're being yeah, a
Will
little
we
negative.
ever?
I don't know. I mean, we came around on so many characters. Maybe he'll win us over.
Yeah, almost all of the characters. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that I think the casting choice for Lulu is working out quite well for me
Yeah, I
because
think so too. Yep.
yeah, I feel like it hasn't taken me much time at all to buy this Lulu,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? And it sort of still makes me wonder, like, so the Drew choice, was that deliberately such a departure because they wanted him to go down this other path, instead of finding like
I
a nice sort of
I kind
quiet.
of wonder if they like an actor, and so they
Yeah,
like,
well,
oh,
yeah,
like, and here's an opening, and
I think you're right. Yeah, actually, now that you mention that, because I think, yeah, he was friends with Frank Valentini or something and said he was like free.
yeah, or if they're just like, oh, we know this person is great on the soap, so we'll make whatever work,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. And that's
um,
kind of unfortunate if that's how they're making some decisions, I think,
yeah,
you know.
um, like the new Aiden, you know,
Yeah,
how did
yeah.
that happen? That was such a departure from that kid.
Yeah, totally.
It was
That was
weird,
like generationally, it was
Yeah,
a
and so you
massive
have to wonder,
departure.
like, is that kid a relative of somebody's or something?
Right, or did he have some incriminating photos of someone?
Cronyism or blackmail?
Right,
Exactly.
it's gotta be one of those 2 things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Mm.
Anyway, yeah, so I guess we kind of did that scene. And then, okay, so Lulu, yes,
Mhm.
I'm with you. I like this Lulu. I mean, I didn't dislike the last one.
No, but this
I
one
probably,
seems
I
way
probably
more like the
yeah.
first one.
But yeah, she seems much more of a tomboy and
Yeah,
tough, and
yeah. Mhm.
uh she is moving around quite well.
Quite
Um
well, quite well.
she kept
Yeah.
getting up off the chairs and the couch. I'm like, just please sit still for a few.
I know, I know.
Gonna rip your stitches out.
Let them get
Um
you some bacitracin or something,
I
you know?
was yeah, I was very worried also about her trying to
Hugging?
eat a turkey sandwich.
Oh. What
Weren't
would
you?
Yeah, I was hungry, so I was a little
So
distracted.
you were like, oh, hand it over.
The
Um
idea of a sandwich sounded pretty good. Oh, yeah, she probably.
she would have been being fed by a tube for 4
Yeah,
years, right?
yeah, and
You're gonna throw
right,
a turkey sandwich in there next and
right,
just
right.
hope for the
Yeah,
best,
yeah,
you
and
know?
even Rocco seems like he should have been a little more
Yeah. It reminds me, I
cautious.
almost ordered you some mung beans today just to put in your Christmas package. I'm not sure what they
Thanks.
are, but they said they were vegan.
I would hope so. They're
I
called
don't know what a
beans.
mung is.
So you think it's like the testicles of a mung or something and not just an
I don't know what they are. I was poking around online looking for Cyber Monday deals, and for some reason my phone thought I'd like mung beans. I was like, huh.
I hope your feed is just overrun with
with weird crap
yeah.
like that. Yeah, it does get a
Uh,
little weird on there, but I was like,
yeah.
well, vegan means that you're you must be off the chocolate, right? Because
Uh,
or
well, you can
wait,
find dark chocolate. Actually, they do have
I was gonna say
plant-based
milk
chocolate now.
chocolate, but
Yeah, you don't want to
um,
have milk chocolate, no, but I do have some plant-based chocolate that I haven't tried, but it must
yeah,
have
because
like
what
oat
does
milk
it
or
have
something.
butter? Does it have butter or what? What's the other
Well, the
fat?
darker the chocolate, the less, it could be just cocoa butter and stuff,
Cacao?
and
Does it have
sugar.
cacao? Cacao? Cacao?
This is where we should start to say goodbye to all of our listeners. Thank you, everybody. We had a good run. We appreciate your support up until now, but we understand why you have to go. And if you need to
Anyway,
leave us like an
okay.
awful review,
I'm
we get
I'm
it.
bringing
We
it
get
back.
it.
I'm backing it up. Beep, beep, beep. Lulu should not try to eat a
Us,
sandwich yet. I
right,
think that'd be hard to
right.
digest.
Yeah, maybe a broth, perhaps,
Maybe a
or
broth.
smoothie,
Yeah, a
maybe.
smoothie sounds nice.
Hmm.
Not like a bunch of kale. Not
No, or one of those. What is it? Cruciferous or
yeah, no cruciferous vegetables.
so
Yeah,
no Brussels sprouts or broccoli.
right. Even on a good day, those are hard for your
Those are
average
hard. Yeah,
citizen. Yeah.
yeah,
So I was concerned about that. I agreed with Dante, like, let's get her to the hospital and get her checked
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
How
I
did you
was
feel about their interaction?
well. I was gonna say I had a tough time trying to figure out how I would feel if I were Dante and walked in and saw Lulu and Rocco together.
Yeah.
Because he seemed sort of like, I want to say impassive, but is that the right word? He seemed a bit
Um,
like
he had a rather
stoic, maybe
flat
stoic.
affect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I guess I guess if he had felt any sort of joy at seeing her, it would be tempered by the loss of Sam, obviously.
Yeah. I
Um,
kind of wondered, like, I think the final scene was her saying something about she had to ask him something or he had to do
yeah,
something for her.
yeah.
And I wondered if
Hmm.
she was going to ask him to, like, hug her
Oh,
because he
yeah, he
hadn't even
hadn't. Yeah,
touched her. He hadn't
right,
physically
right.
touched her.
Yeah, and there's been so many instances like that where people aren't hugging and a hug is what is called for.
Yeah, well, like what else? When else?
Remember we were talking about when was it? Not that long ago, like a week or two ago, when somebody, maybe it was after Sam had died and people weren't hugging each other
Oh,
to
they weren't
comfort
right.
each
Yeah,
other,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I do remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just thought, I mean, essentially Lulu's has returned from the dead here, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know they weren't together, as a couple, like romantically,
Right.
but wouldn't that warrant just a like, oh my God,
Well, and he
um,
had been sort of overwrought when she seemed to be dying. He'd spent all that
right.
time at the hospital. So yeah,
So he's
yeah,
obviously very conflicted. I'm just
yes,
thinking, like, how is that hitting her? That's got to be.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, right. Hmm.
and you were right. Like she did know that.
Dustin, yeah,
Dustin, Dust in
yeah.
the wind.
So
Um,
Dante had told her, and I guess I might vaguely remember that, but
so
that was, I
she
guess,
must have been conscious and then went into
yeah,
the.
and then yeah, yeah. I don't remember all the details of
Yeah, I don't
that, but
remember any of that, but
yeah,
yeah. Okay, so that's
um,
good. So she didn't have to learn that her
right,
boyfriend had died.
right, yeah, yeah.
Um, but
Um,
yeah, it's like a little Rip Van Winkle thing that's going to keep
mhm,
unfolding here, which will be
mhm.
sort of interesting, I
Sort
guess.
of interesting, yeah, yeah.
A lot of
Um,
potential there.
Potential, but then also there's a lot of evidence of how they've bungled this, like when
Are you being
Lucky
negative? Are you going to be negative?
I'm just gonna
I'm,
try
I'm,
it and
I
see how
go
it
ahead and let her,
feels to
let
be a
her rip,
little bit
let her rip. Yeah, I'm down with that or for it. I'm down for it or with it. Either way,
with it. Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna
Um,
slide into it.
See, now you've made me uncomfortable again.
You're welcome.
Thanks. um, when Lucky went over to see Laura, like how ridiculous was it that she's sitting there like going over bills or whatever with her assistant or something, like oblivious to everything that's going
Yeah,
on
and
with
it's been
Lulu.
yeah, and I found myself wondering at that during that scene, like how I couldn't figure out the timeline of how many
Yeah,
days has
right.
she been AWOL
It would
or
be at least 24 hours, right? But
yeah, yeah.
longer that she hadn't seen her. She hadn't been to see her.
I know, yeah, that was bizarre. And also all the things she called up and ordered like a bolus.
Well, it is a medical drama. Uh,
That just came back to me now. Bolus. No,
it's a
Ebola. What does that
bolo.
stand for?
Be on the lookout, I think.
Oh, look at you. Bazinga! Be
I
on the
guess you could
lookout.
also
I
say
never
an
had
all
thought of
points
it.
bulletin, although is that for a criminal, an APB? Maybe that's for a criminal.
I'm not sure. I don't
Yeah.
know, but look at you with the acronyms. Cool. Um, so anyway, all those things that should have already been happening from
Yes.
Turning Woods, like
Yeah. Yeah. And
uh,
also that she had no knowledge of, well, obviously she wouldn't have known that Turning Woods gave Cyrus like full reign over the whole place,
yeah, yeah.
but
It
how that happened, without her approval, that was also seemed glaring,
it
didn't
was
it?
all it was kind of sloppy, wasn't it? It was just
Yeah,
sort of
yeah. So all of those things together sort of made the whole like experience of Lulu less effective, I thought, like her waking up,
well,
every
and
bit of it.
has anybody been in contact with the police? Did we see Lucky talk to the police or anything?
I don't
Did
think
did
so.
I
He and
misremember? Or
No, he and Elizabeth took it upon themselves to question Cyrus, and they did
Cyrus,
get that
yeah.
guy to send them the security footage, but that should have gone to the police.
Yeah, so that all just seems like, I mean, maybe we're supposed to think that Lucky has a just a general distrust of the police, so he
Yeah,
wouldn't.
which would make
But
sense, but
it would feel more like real life if the police had been involved at Turning Woods or something, like
yeah, yeah.
you wouldn't just have a patient wandering around out there without.
No, if they had to account for everyone after the fire alarm was pulled, you'd think if as soon as they saw somebody was missing, that would be the protocol to
Yeah,
call the police.
yeah.
And well, I guess Dante is a cop, so he should be he should be on the phone too, saying, I found Lulu.
I found her, right? Yeah.
you know,
And
I,
somebody better call Maxie pretty quick and let her know that
yeah,
like the
yeah,
intruder was at who, I mean they've already figured it out, but
right,
still, nonetheless,
yeah,
there's a lot of
yeah,
calls that ought to be made or
a lot of
text, maybe
calls.
a text even, but
Yeah, it seems like a lot of times they forget they can text people, right?
right. Yeah, and maybe Laura, maybe somebody should let Laura know. Um,
That would be good too. That would be nice.
I'm sure we'll
Yeah.
see all of this tomorrow, but
Yeah, I guess we will, won't we? And will we see Tracy tomorrow? We haven't seen
oh
Tracy
yeah,
in a
and I
while,
wanted
have we?
to give you a shout out because I was wondering why she would have gone to the Quartermains at all,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you pointed out the connection with Tracy, which I totally space. I don't.
I do
I'm
too,
I'm
because I
thinking I
can't.
didn't watch during that time or something. I don't remember
Yeah, I
that.
don't know when that was either, but I don't have vivid memories of the two of them like together in any
Yeah, but
real
they act
way.
like it was a big deal,
They
so
do. They
it
do
must have
act like
been.
it's a big deal. Yeah.
But anyway,
So
you were completely correct in that hunch. So
thanks, Gia. Thank you. That means the world to me when you say
credit
things
where
like
credit's
that.
due. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I like to give.
I'll send you some mung beans as a congratulatory gift.
You're gonna sign me up for like a Bean of the Month club.
Yeah, there are
Okay,
that would be great because
that would be great.
there are so many beans out
Somebody
there.
out there is gonna steal that idea
Bean of the
and
month club.
promptly go bankrupt. So
Bean of the
good luck
month.
to you.
There are like millions of beans, though, really.
Yeah,
And
That's
I have to tell you, like, we talked. I don't even know if it made it on any of the podcasts. It's probably better if it didn't. But remember, we were talking about cannibalism.
I do. Yeah. That was last time. Yeah. That was our Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah, but then we had to abort it. And I don't know if we talked about cannibalism again.
I think we
Um,
did touch on it a bit.
we
I
touched on,
believe you were
yeah,
able to put forward your idea again how it would be nice if people could share pieces of their ass and have their
right,
ass grow back.
right. Or even I thought later about, like, if they just had sort of a calendar of, like, they could chop off a finger, or
Each like
like,
in like January would be finger month, maybe something like that.
yeah, yeah, just a big finger stew or something.
So everybody in the family would give a finger for the stew.
Or whatever. I was thinking the community needed to pull together. I don't know. I'm finding that during little downtimes, my brain has been working. The whole thing was about the Jamestown colony, and my brain just keeps trying to, like, think of other things they might have done to.
Had they had somebody like you as their cruise director.
Right, and I was thinking about how versatile and long lasting beans are, and how easily they travel, and, like, why didn't they
Uh-huh.
have just barns and silos full of beans that they brought over? You know,
Huh.
I
Well,
don't
that's
I don't know the facts. I guess maybe they.
so in the whole Jamestown special, they didn't address beans. They didn't have an episode
No, they were just
dedicated to
talking
beans
about this. They were talking about this poor girl,
with
being
all the cut marks.
yeah, yeah, with the evidence of the butchery, post mortem butchery. But
Uh-huh. Huh.
I don't know. I just kept thinking about dried beans and how you can have dried beans in your cupboards for years.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm
I
sure they did everything they could, obviously, before they pulled the cannibalism lever.
I'm just going to let you run out of steam on this topic.
It really bothers me thinking about it. But
That people were chewing each other when they could have been enjoying a nice bean.
enjoying a little split pea soup with
Like you
with
feel
a
this
finger
nibbling
bone
on
in.
your ass. Hey!
I mean, I'm sure every bit of, I'm sure they were boiling up any, like, leather shoes or whatever,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
um I don't know. They were obviously ill prepared to come colonize the New World.
So tisk tisk. That's all they need right now, Gia,
It's
is to be
so
scolded
here I
by
am
you.
being negative again.
um well,
Okay,
this
let's see.
it's
Who else? I'm letting it go now. Zip it, I zipped it, zipped it away.
I'm sorry everybody. Sometimes Gia is just, like off on her own. And
Yeah, my
sometimes it's nice,
brain's
sometimes it's sweet, it's apples, it's
brain's
watermelon.
a little cloud floating away.
Maybe
Yeah.
do you think you might have a worm in your brain?
Yes. Yes. And
And it can't find purchase.
and you could, if you had a worm, you could put him in a soup and it would add a little protein.
If you could draw him out of your noggin,
Yep.
it might
Yep.
make a nice base
You
for
could
a
use one
soup.
of those Navage. Um, those ads gross me out. Do
People
you
are
want
having
one of
a
those
real hard
for
time rooting
Christmas?
for us.
Okay, let's get back to General Hospital.
Okay.
All right. So Lulu, what else do we want? We like Lulu. We like this new Lulu. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the general reaction all around online from what I've seen. Is that
Yeah.
she's bringing
So
the
that's good.
original Lulu
Kudos to her.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I also think I'm still enjoying the kids. I'm still thinking that like
oh
Rocco,
my
I
God,
like.
did you ever think you'd say that?
No, I feel
You're
like maybe
enjoying the
I do
kids.
have a worm in my brain.
I think you just it's really poor little Wiley that's your target of
Oh,
abuse.
yeah, and thank God we haven't had him inflicted upon us lately, because
Yeah, but you
I don't
seem to
know if
like
he
all
has
the
the
other aspects.
chops to deal with what's going on in his little family.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the poor guy. That's gonna be rough. But yeah, James, as we said the other day, total sparkle pony. I mean, he
Yes, yes,
knocking it out of the park.
yes. He, if anybody can revive the Sparkle Pony ranking system,
Yeah,
it's James. And Rocco, now that he's got a little bit of lightness because Lulu's back, I feel like he's going to start to shine a bit more.
yeah, and he seemed very sweet. He was believable
Yeah,
as a
he
sweet
did
teenage
seem
boy.
sweet. Yeah, and I thought it was interesting to see little Danny there, all angst
Yeah,
ridden, because now
yeah,
he's got to be like, he's kind of in a similar position to Dante, where he wants to be happy for somebody, but it's at, what cost? I mean,
right.
it,
Yeah,
there
that's
must be a bit of resentment there, even though he probably understands you know, it's not Rocco's fault or Lulu's fault, that,
yeah, yeah.
but, you know.
But yeah,
He's a kid.
he didn't even have any lines, but he emoted
Right.
well, just a little
Yeah.
bit we saw of
Yeah.
him. So yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes,
I
they're
think
very
those.
sweet teenage boys. It's kind of like that's a
Mhm.
weird thing to say, 'cause, like you don't think
It
of
is.
teenage boys as being sweet, but they're in
No.
that little phase before they become hulking and menacing.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, no, they're
But
probably sweeter than teenage girls any day, really.
oh yeah, sluts.
The lot of them, sluts, a lot of them. Yes. Um, let's see,
Hmm.
what else did we have?
Hmm.
Well,
Um.
Lucky and his mother. That was kind of I liked them kind of both rooting for her. Like her for Lulu's pluckiness. I like them
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like
Right.
she like look how resourceful she's being, and
Hmm.
um,
Yeah. They still seem to be at a loss as to how to present Lucky to us or something. I don't know.
I'm kind of not getting too invested in him because I don't know if
Yeah.
he's gonna stay.
Yeah, and that's a kind of a
Yeah,
shitty feeling, isn't it? It kind of
yeah.
they're sort of sabotaging the whole, like.
Is he in the credits? I haven't paid attention. Is he in those credits?
I don't know. I can't remember, Gia,
I'll
but
have to pay attention.
yeah. So we'll see.
Yes. Yeah, we don't know whether to think he's a swaggering,
Yeah.
um, cocky hero type,
Right.
or is he a like nerdy, tech kind of type, or
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, he's still around, and he kind of got his butt kicked by Cyrus and a little bit by Elizabeth, and he hasn't
Yep.
he
Yep.
hasn't been scared off yet. So
Right, but it seems like he's trying to go for this sort of larger than life personality, which he's not really showing it to us.
yeah, yeah, he doesn't. He's not. Yeah, I hope they don't. I mean, it might be interesting to explore the idea of Lucky trying to fill Luke's shoes and
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
being able to. You
Right.
know, if
Right.
he kind of comes to the realization, like, hey, I'm
Mhm.
trying to recreate my dad here, and I'm not. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and we still don't know what Sonny might have set in motion for him, right? So what if he went to work for Sonny thinking he could be this badass or something, and then doesn't have what it takes?
yeah, that could be interesting, and Christina as well, and they could have
The two of them, if he's got two new recruits.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, Oh, I, this is not on that topic, but a point
Okay.
of see if you remember.
Okay.
So
I think we
Rick,
know the answer to that, but go ahead.
yeah, you might
Oh
remember.
yeah, I slept with Alexis's daughter.
So Sam, I'm
That's
assuming.
that's that's probably not Molly. Or was it?
And if it had been Christina, it would have like so it had to have been Sam. So
Had to have been Sam. So when did that
does
happen?
anybody remember that? Totally don't remember. I don't remember a whole lot of the Rick stuff. Like I totally
Yeah.
in my head, I thought he kidnapped Elizabeth, but it was
Mm,
Carly, right? And
I
so
guess. Yeah, I don't. I guess.
I knew he was keeping somebody hostage somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Alexis mentioned that. Yeah,
yeah, but and I knew that I disliked him back in the day, but I don't
yeah.
really.
He was always a smarmy kind of like sort of self-serving guy without a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
morals. Um,
yeah.
but
Um,
yeah, that does
I
seem
have
weird if he slept with Sam. That's hard to conjure up.
no recollection of that. He should have gotten up
Yeah.
and said a little something at her service.
That would have been sweet.
And I'm
I
still
only
a little
slept
bit
with her once,
confused.
or
Yeah.
however many times you slept with her.
Yeah,
But
I'm still a little confused as to whether Lucky had a relationship with Sam that we've forgotten as
well,
well.
that was another one, wasn't it? Their acting was significant, and also Lucas and Sam. I mean, all these things that we can't recall. Either that's a
Yeah,
sign of just how far gone we are.
that definitely could be. I mean, that's
Yeah,
obviously
maybe
a
we should just
possibility.
stop it
Yeah,
right there and call
yeah.
it. You know.
But anyway, that sort of stopped me for a minute. I was like, oh, wait a minute,
Yeah,
slept with your daughter.
yeah,
But you
yeah.
don't
You
remember.
think
All right.
I
Well,
don't remember, but yeah, it's a weird time to throw that out there, right? Because
yeah. Did
you
they
think
mean
that
something by that? Do they want us thinking about that?
maybe, but it seemed like that would have been a strong enough argument for Molly to have kept her distance a bit more from
Yeah,
him, right?
yeah, right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
Unless she would know, right? She would know that that had happened.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Well, that brings us to Molly and TJ. We haven't really talked about
Oh,
that.
forgot all about that. That was awful.
Yeah. Um, awful. How was it awful for you?
Thank you for asking. Um,
If it were a color, what color would it have been for
it
you?
would be like sort of a muddy greenish brown.
Okay, yucky.
Um, I just felt like there was, and maybe this was realistic. I don't know. I don't like a lot of noise, like when two people are like emoting at the same time at each other. You know, only one at a
You
time,
should have
please.
that on your Facebook profile. I don't like a lot of noise when two people are emoting.
But
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah. That's what I was talking about earlier with the execution. Like it was
Yeah, yeah,
awful.
yeah.
It was awful what was happening, but yeah, they were both like going for the big dramatic ugly cry
Yeah,
thing, and
yeah.
and it must have been a really hard scene to act out.
It must have been, and they were sort of individually doing a pretty good job, I guess. But I
But
don't
yeah, it was
know.
kind of hard to watch,
It was, and it seemed like it. I mean, I don't know if all of that should have unfolded in just one scene like that, because we've had like a lot of instances where you could tell they were avoiding each other, but this was like the one real conversation about it, and it wasn't much of a conversation. It was just like
it was
both of
just a
them sort of
yeah.
falling apart a little bit.
And then the whole, the old tomato old tomato got thrown down with the I want kids, but I don't want kids.
Yeah, and didn't that seem a
Yeah.
little bit, I don't know what the word is, either premature or contrived or something like.
It still feels I think just because we don't really know TJ,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, and the
it felt
whole.
contrived to me to think of him being so insistent on having kids.
Yeah, like that was like a make or break thing. And we also, I don't know if we were ever really properly convinced that the two of them had really, really wanted a baby, because that all happened kind of quickly, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I seem to have taken a dislike to TJ. Um,
Really? I I have too, Gia.
so I felt like him pushing the idea of kids on her so soon
Mm,
after that loss.
yeah,
Um, well, she hadn't processed the loss of that baby yet.
right, right.
Give her another month or two, and then maybe approach the idea of trying again, however, whatever that looks like. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought, when you're in pain like that, you're like,
Mhm.
no, there's
Right.
no way, how like when you lose a pet and you're like, I'm never getting another dog because it's
Yeah,
just
and
too painful.
right, and if somebody said something like, "Oh,
Yeah.
get another one," you wouldn't wanna
Yeah,
hear it.
you wouldn't want to hear it. And so it takes a little time. For
Mhm.
you, I know you're already online ordering like three more.
I'm yeah, 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 it's true. I could hear it.
But you know what I mean? If you're so
Yeah.
overcome with grief over a particular, and
Yes.
I don't mean to, I get that babies and dogs are not the same thing. Totally understand that. But I'm just saying, for me, the loss of
Yes.
a
Yes.
loved whatever, a loved
Mm,
creature.
yep.
I know babies aren't creatures. Just stop it with all that. I'm not equating. Um, I'm just
I
saying that a little more time and space for Molly would
Yeah.
have been smart and
Reasonable
caring
and
and courteous. And
yes, show
so
a bit of
I don't know.
compassion and empathy.
Yeah, so TJ is just being so like, I don't know, not high and mighty, but like
Yeah. I
I don't
think
know what
those
the word is.
Well, those situations, it seems like if all of the TV that we've watched is any sign of how people behave, and I think it is.
We have
Um,
watched a lot of TV. Yeah.
oh, those situations where a couple loses a child, whether it's this sort of loss, or if you lose a child who's you've spent years with, seems like that's such a fraught situation, and it's almost impossible not to judge how the other person is grieving.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Um,
but I would like to sort of feel that more. I mean, that does seem like that's what TJ's doing with Molly, kind of judging how she's grieving.
yeah, and like pushing her all the time. Just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like he's making it more about him than her.
Yeah. And
Like he's just
also,
being a little selfish about it.
right, and just wanting to take Christina down, and I mean, like you said, they want to be even Christina wants to be angry at someone and blame someone, so maybe that's all that
Maybe
is.
that's what he's doing. Yeah, but
But he was bashing Christina back before she even was pregnant, right? So
yeah,
I don't know.
we haven't seen a good side of TJ in a long
Not in
time.
a long time, no. No.
I wish we I wish we could, and maybe the breaking
Yeah.
them up will allow them both to, now they're both like back on the chessboard, in Fort
Yeah.
Dry. So
Yeah, yeah.
um
So we'll see, I
oh,
guess.
and speaking of loss in real life, you probably saw the headlines about Lucy, the actor Lucy Coe, losing her husband. Did you see
Oh, no,
that?
I didn't see that. No. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he was Wayne something,
okay.
and he was on another soap.
Mhm.
Was it Days of Our Lives? I think.
Could
I
have
think Days of
been.
Our Lives,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that
lots of
could
other
be.
stuff. He's super,
Uh-huh.
super. When I looked at him, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know him from all kinds of stuff," but I couldn't
Uh-huh.
pinpoint
Uh-huh.
what. But
Mhm.
anyway, he passed away, and he was.
Huh.
I know it sounds weird, but only 77. That sounds young to me now.
Yeah, huh. Wow, that's too bad. I think I did see a picture of that person dying, but I didn't realize that he was married to her. It's
Yeah,
too bad.
I didn't know that either. I
Mhm.
mean, that
Mhm.
just came up today, but I guess he
Uh-huh.
had Alzheimer's, and
Oh, wow. Huh.
so that may explain why we haven't seen her in quite a
Yeah,
while.
that's
Um,
true. Yeah, well, that's true. And I was going to say earlier that this is another one of those stretches where it seems like there's a lot of people we haven't seen recently. Like Laura coming back is good,
yeah,
obviously the
yeah,
timing for her being gone was
yeah,
stupid.
right.
But
Um,
and Tracy we haven't seen in a bit. Um
well, hopefully we will with the Lulu thing, and maybe
yeah,
we'll get to see
yeah.
why they were so tight. I don't know.
Right, right.
Although they
Yeah.
can't do flashbacks because they're different actresses, so it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, sometimes they recreate those that
I
right
know.
they
I always find that weird. Like
yeah, I do too. Like, yeah.
like a
You
weird.
think you can fool us with that?
Yes, they can fool
Okay.
us with anything, really.
But
Anyway,
yeah,
guess we've kind of covered all of Monday, haven't we?
I guess we did, Gia, and we covered a lot of other topics
Sure.
exhaustively, I would say. Um, but I think the good
I
news
felt
is a
that.
lot of people are going to be
Mm.
giving beans a little more thought.
Mung beans. Yeah. Well,
Maybe,
yeah, and just dried beans in general, and the
yeah,
importance of having a just a storage cabinet full of
full
dried
of
beans.
beans. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
if anyone wants to thank Gia, you can post a thank you on our
And
Facebook
I
page.
mean they're carby, they're pretty high in carbs, but I think it's
Hmm.
considered a complex carb.
Yeah, protein, I mean, and fiber,
Mhm.
right? I think
Oh,
are
they're
they a
fiber, all right.
superfood? Some of them
I
probably are
don't
superfoods.
know.
I don't know.
There's all these weird superfoods that you're like, should I be eating these
Yeah.
a kai, whatever,
Yeah. I wonder who
Anyway,
gets to decide what the superfoods
I
are.
don't know. I think maybe the little wild Maine blueberry might be a superfood. So you're
Blueberries, I
good at
think, yeah,
that.
blueberries are a superfood. I believe you're correct there, Gia.
I think it's just the wild ones, though. I
Oh,
think
really? Just the little ones?
I'm not positive, but I think they've got some advantage over the
Mm,
cultivated blueberry.
yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, the bears
Mm,
like them.
sure, sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Were you just swilling gin? Was that the gin bottle?
A little
Put the
water,
cap
Gia.
back on the gin bottle.
Yeah, we'll have to have it. We'll have another a beverage night soon, right? It's been a little while.
Oh, I'm doing dry December now because
What? Oh,
I know. Well,
okay.
it was going to be dry November, and that the opposite happened.
Yeah, the
To
wheels
be
really
honest
came
with you,
off that little
I
plan,
like
huh?
flew off that. Yeah, so
Hmm.
hard that it's, it's got whiplash now. So
Okay,
I
so
literally I was like,
December.
I'm doing dry December, and so I had a couple beers in my fridge, and I took them to my neighbor. I was like, please.
Wow.
I know
Please.
that's. I know he was like, what? Like,
Who are you? Do I have to
I,
put out?
I
I don't know what's happening here.
I texted him. I said, I'm gonna leave cups of beers out by your front door. He was like, what? Like a good neighbor. But anyway, but yeah, come January, let's party.
Okay. All right. All right.
All
We'll put
right.
that on my calendar. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think that's a good idea. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for listening, people, and
Yeah, really, really thanks. If
yeah,
you're
well,
still with us, that's
you are
something.
a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
inexplicable. But
inexplicable.
but
Yeah.
we appreciate it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
let's do another quality product in a few days.
Yeah, okay, we'll try.
All righty.
Okay,
Okay. You have a
Gia.
lovely evening.
You too. Good night.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.